Listen, I need you to pay close attention because what I am about to expose could literally save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. You worked 40 years for this money. You played by the rules. You paid your taxes. You built something from nothing. You are the financial backbone of this country. But now, certain state governments see your retirement savings and think it is their money to redistribute. That is exactly what is happening right now. You moved to the wrong state, and politicians are draining your nest egg piece by piece, year after year. They are funding programs you never asked for and supporting spending you never voted for, until you start wondering if you will actually outlive your own money. Before we expose exactly which states you need to escape from, welcome to Tax Hack Pro. Here, we bring you the financial truth that mainstream outlets often gloss over. While others cover for high-tax governors, we are exposing the systems designed to punish success and target your savings. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon. Your support funds the research that fights for hardworking taxpayers like you. Now, let's expose these retirement traps. Today, we're counting down 15 states, from bad to absolutely wealth-destroying, that have tax systems specifically designed to punish people who saved responsibly. These aren't just expensive states. These are states run by politicians who view your retirement account as a funding source for their deficits. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which states to avoid and where retirees can actually keep their wealth. Let's start with a state that pretends to be charming while secretly targeting your estate the moment you pass away. Number 15, Rhode Island, a tiny state with massive taxation. A beautiful coastline that comes with a retirement death sentence. You picture yourself enjoying those mansions, finally relaxing after decades of hard work. Then you see the estate tax, and you realize Rhode Island isn't interested in your golden years. They want your golden nest egg. The estate tax threshold here is just $1.7 million, one of the lowest in America. That beach house you saved 40 years to buy. The state wants 16% of its value when you die. That isn't just taxation, that is confiscation. And if your income is too high, meaning you were actually successful, they will even tax your Social Security benefits, money you already paid taxes on your entire working life. Rhode Island politicians think they deserve a cut of everything you earned. It is a classic wealth transfer mentality. Rhode Island waits until you die, but our number 14 state taxes your Social Security while you are still breathing. And its politics are openly hostile to wealth accumulation. Number 14, Vermont, the land of high taxes and big government. They call it progressive. What it really means is they progressively take more of your money to fund state experiments. Vermont is one of only a handful of states that still taxes Social Security benefits. You paid into the system your entire life. The federal government already taxed you. Now Vermont wants another bite. The top income tax rate here hits 8.75%. The estate tax sits at 16%. Vermont looks beautiful in the fall, until you realize the scenery cost you a fortune in lost savings. Every dollar they take from hardworking retirees funds programs that often do not benefit you. Vermont has always been a high-tax state, but the next state on our list actually changed the rules after people had already moved there. Number 13, Montana. Big Sky Country has turned into big tax country for retirees. For years, Montana marketed itself as a tax-friendly destination. No sales tax, low cost of living, rugged independence. Thousands of retirees moved there specifically for the benefits. Then, the rules changed. New legislation gutted retirement deductions. The pension deduction, gone. The IRA deduction, gone. It was a Bayten switch that trapped retirees who had already bought homes. And Montana still taxes Social Security in many cases. If you are withdrawing $50,000 from your IRA, you are now paying state tax on the vast majority of it. This is what happens when fiscal policy shifts against you. They punish success to plug budget holes. Montana betrayed the retirees who trusted them, but Nebraska takes a different approach. They wait until you are gone, then they attack your family. Number 12, Nebraska, the good life. Unless you want to leave your money to someone outside your immediate family, then it becomes the government takes your life savings. Nebraska has an inheritance tax that is basically a punishment for taking care of people who aren't blood relatives. Your niece who spent years caring for you in your final days, 11% tax. Your best friend who was there when your kids weren't, 15% tax. Why? Because the state has decided that only certain family relationships are legitimate enough to avoid taxation. Everyone else, they aren't entitled to your generosity. The state is. This is government overreach at its finest. Your money, your life's work, and politicians deciding who is worthy of receiving it. Quick note. If this information is making you angry, that is good. You should be angry. Hit subscribe to Tax Hack Pro because we expose this financial overreach every single week. Those first 4 states hide their taxes in the fine print. These next three are openly hostile to anyone who worked hard and saved money. Number 11, Oregon. The state that has seen businesses flee now wants to burn through your retirement savings too. Oregon has one of the highest effective tax rates on retirement withdrawals in America. If you pull $100,000 from your IRA, they take over 9%. You worked 40 years, paid taxes the whole time, and saved responsibly. Oregon sees that as an opportunity to fund state programs that you might not agree with. The estate tax kicks in at just $1 million, the absolute lowest threshold in America. If you own a modest home and have a decent 401k, you are technically wealthy in Oregon's eyes, and your heirs will pay the price. Oregon politicians look at successful retirees and see Adams. Number 10, Minnesota. Minnesota NICE does not apply to their tax code. Try Minnesota high tax. The top income tax rate is nearly 10%, 9.85 to be exact. They tax your pension. They tax your 401k. They tax your IRA. And unlike 41 other states that learn to respect Social Security, Minnesota taxes that too. A middle-class retiree who saved responsibly for 40 years gets punished while the state's surplus is spent elsewhere. You worked your whole life, doesn't matter. Minnesota needs your money. The estate tax catches families at $3 million, not billionaires, small business owners, farmers, people who built something real. Minnesota's message is clear. If you were successful, you are the target. Minnesota attacks your income and Social Security, but Connecticut adds property taxes so crushing that retirees are literally being forced from their homes. Number 9, Connecticut. The population is fleeing, and the state responds by raising costs even more. The median property tax bill is over $6,500 annually. That is $550 per month just to live in a home you supposedly own. But you don't really own it, do you? Miss those property tax payments, and the government takes it. You are essentially renting from the state for life. Income tax goes up to 7%. Estate tax goes up to 12%. Connecticut attacks from every angle while infrastructure decays. Where does your money go? It goes to massive unfunded pension liabilities for government workers who often retire with better benefits than the private sector. Connecticut's population is shrinking because productive people are escaping, and the ones left behind. They get taxed even harder to make up the difference. That is the death spiral of high-tax governance. Share this video right now because every retiree needs to know which states are basically robbery operations with a state flag. Oregon, Minnesota, Connecticut tax you hard. But these next 4 states have the highest total tax burdens in America. Number 8, New York, the Empire State, more like the empire of taxation, run by high-tax politicians for decades, and look at the result. It has the highest total tax burden in America, not one of the highest, the highest. The top income tax rate is nearly 11%. Live in New York City, add another nearly 4% on top of that. That is almost 15% of your income gone before the federal government even touches it. Albany looks at your retirement account and sees funding for their budget crisis. The estate tax has a cliff at roughly $6 million. If you are $1 over, your entire estate gets hit. It is designed to trap successful families. Meanwhile, New York is hemorrhaging population. Over 500,000 people have fled since 2020. People are heading to Florida, Texas, Tennessee, anywhere that respects the money you earned. New York seniors are increasingly living in financial distress because the cost of remaining in the state is simply too high. Number 7, Illinois, a state known for corruption and financial mismanagement. Now, the leadership is crushing retirees with property taxes. It has the second highest property tax rate in America. In Chicago suburbs, bills of $6,000, $7,000, or $8,000 annually are common. And what do you get for it? Massive debt and rising crime. Here is the irony. Illinois does not tax your retirement income. Sounds generous, right? It isn't. They figured out they can drain you through property taxes instead. You can't escape those. You pay every year until you die or flee, and nearly 500,000 people have fled since 2020. Illinois is losing residents faster than almost anywhere else, but the state just taxes the remaining people harder. Illinois drains you through property taxes. California, however, taxes everything. Number 6, California. The highest income tax in America at 13.3%, and they are not satisfied with just taking from civilians. California is one of the few states that fully taxes military retirement pay. You served your country for 20 years, put your life on the line. Every other state either exempts military retirement or gives a significant break. California says, pay up. That is how little the tax code values service. Californians are fleeing by the hundreds of thousands. The census confirms it every year. They are going to Texas, Florida, Arizona, states that actually appreciate people who worked hard and play by the rules. California taxes everything, and the cost of living is astronomical. Number 5. Hawaii. Politicians have turned paradise into a financial prison. To retire comfortably in Hawaii, studies show you need over $1.5 million in savings. Why so expensive? Decades of regulations, shipping laws, and policies that drive up costs while delivering little in return. A gallon of milk costs a fortune, and on top of that, income tax hits 11%. Hawaii politicians would rather cater to wealthy tourists and foreign investors than make life affordable for working Americans who want to retire there. It is elite policy at its worst. The next 3 states don't just drain you while you are alive, they wait until you are dead. Then they attack your family with death taxes that are simply unethical. Number 4. Kentucky. Kentucky should be conservative, parts of it are. But the inheritance tax, that is pure government overreach. Your niece who cared for you, 4 to 16% tax. Your best friend, 6 to 16% tax. Meanwhile, politicians give tax breaks to big corporations while punishing regular families trying to pass down modest inheritances. This is what happens when fiscal responsibility is ignored. They create tax systems that punish family values while claiming to support them. Your money, your choice should be respected. Instead, the government decides who is worthy. Number 3. Maryland. The only state in America with both an estate tax and an inheritance tax. Your estate pays, then your heirs pay again. That isn't taxation, that is legalized theft. Maryland is full of bureaucrats who grew government and expect you to pay for it. When you die, Maryland takes up to 16% from your estate. Then they take another 10% from your heirs. 2 bites at the same apple. And where does that money go? To fund a bloated state budget. Wealthy residents hire lawyers and dodge it with complex trusts. Middle-class families, they get destroyed. That is the reality of Maryland's tax code, crushing the middle class while the elite find loopholes. Number 2. New Jersey. Property taxes so high they should be illegal. The median bill is approaching $10,000 per year. That is over $800 per month before you have bought food, paid for medicine, or turned on the heat. The average Social Security check is barely enough to cover the property taxes in some counties. You worked 40 years, and half your benefit goes to the local government. New Jersey is practically forcing retirees to leave. Over 500,000 people have left in recent years. Who stays? Those who cannot afford to move, and public sector workers with protected pensions. That is the model. Drive out the private sector producers, raise taxes on whoever is left. New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the nation, but our number 1 state just passed a brand new tax that specifically targets the moment you try to retire successfully. Welcome to wealth redistribution in action. Number 1. Massachusetts, the Fair Share Amendment. Sounds nice, doesn't it? That is how they sell it. In 2022, voters approved a 4% surtax on income over $1 million. Make the rich pay, they said. What they didn't tell you is that this tax destroys retirees. Here is the scenario. You sell the family home after 40 years. Capital gains push you over $1 million for just 1 year. You take your required minimum distribution forced by federal law. You sell your small business to retire. Suddenly, you are a millionaire for 1 year, and Massachusetts wants an extra 4% on top of the regular 5% income tax. That is 9% total. A 70-year-old couple sells their Boston home, $600,000 in gains. His RMD is large, her pension is modest. Total income hits $1.03 million. They aren't rich. They are transitioning into retirement after a lifetime of work. Massachusetts treats them like tycoons. A small business owner, 65 years old, sells his manufacturing company for $2.5 million after 30 years of building it. That isn't annual income. That is a lifetime of work converted to cash in one moment. Massachusetts takes an extra massive cut because the state thinks success should be punished. Financial advisors across Massachusetts are telling clients the same thing. If you're going to retire, do it before you move here or after you leave, not while you are a resident. That is how bad it is. And where does this money go? To fund state programs that continue to expand. Meanwhile, the person who saved responsibly gets robbed. Massachusetts isn't just taxing wealth, they are taxing the American dream. Work hard, save money, build something, and they will take it the moment you try to enjoy it. 15 states, 15 different ways politicians drain your retirement. From Rhode Island's estate tax to Vermont's high rates, from Montana's betrayal to Massachusetts' retirement trap. Every single one is run by a system that has forgotten what built this economy. Personal responsibility, hard work, and the freedom to keep what you earn. But here is the good news. You have options. Florida has made itself a retirement haven with zero income tax and constitutional protections. Texas has no income tax, a growing economy, and actually appreciates people who built something. Tennessee, Wyoming, South Dakota, New Hampshire. These are states that understand the government works for you, not the other way around. You earned this money. You saved it while paying taxes your entire life. You played by every rule they made up. You have the right to keep it. Do not let high-tax politicians turn your golden years into a financial nightmare. Vote with your feet. Move to a state that respects success instead of punishing it. Retirement should be about freedom, about enjoying what you built, about leaving something for your kids and grandkids, about living in a place where the government doesn't see you as an ATM machine. If this video opened your eyes to what these states are really doing to retirees, hit subscribe to Tax Hack Pro and turn on notifications. Share this with every retiree you know. Drop a comment. Which state shocked you the most? Are you planning to escape? Have you already fled to a low-tax state? I want to hear your stories because every one of them exposes what happens when you let big government control tax policy. Thanks for watching Tax Hack Pro. We are fighting for your financial freedom while others protect the status quo. I'll see you in the next one. Protect your wealth, protect your future, and keep hacking the tax code.